Yeah, I've been coming out early today, kind of pretty much on time. Everything went smooth. The end of the week, man, there's gonna be some good football games on this weekend, boy. Hopefully the Houston Texans can pull it out. And then what I'm hoping for, before I get to the topic, I hope that the Houston Texans can pull it out, and then Buffalo can pull it out, and then the game, the AFC Championship game, will be at NRG Stadium. Well, that would be a beautiful, beautiful thing. For That's why I got to go for Buffalo. Hopefully, Houston can win, and it'll be Houston versus Buffalo at NRG Stadium, and the winner goes to the Super Bowl. I'm 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 real positive, and I'm thinking that everything. I think we're gonna pull it out, guys. I'm thinking. I haven't seen the injury report to see if Colin's gonna be back. I guess I'll do that when I get through exercising. This is the Walk Down. I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper, and this is another episode of the Walk Down. Appreciate y'all for joining, coming in, rocking. Yeah, just got through running my 3 miles. Now I'm finna walk a mile and a half, a mile and a quarter, because one time around this thing is a mile and a quarter. I'm gonna keep it real short and simple. You know what I'm saying? We got a big weekend. I will be going live for these football games, guys. So make sure you come rock with me. All the people that do come rock with me doing the football games, and we chop it up about the game. We will be doing that this weekend once I figure out what the lineup's gonna be. For sure, we going live for the Texans New England game, because I'm hoping that the Texans go on and pull. If C.J. Stroud can play a better game than what he did Monday, like if C.J. Stroud can play the full game like he did, like the second half or the last quarter, I think that they will pull it out. If C.J. Stroud up his game, they gonna pull it out. No turnovers, like he was doing in the beginning of the game, chat. No turnovers, and yeah, no turnovers, because I was like, man, Monday, I was like, man, he about to blow the game. We already got a killer defense. We just need C.J. Stroud to step up. Man, I don't know what's been going on with him this year, man. He ain't been there. I think last year he wasn't there, and this year he ain't really been there really that much either, Yeah, but that's what I got going on right now as we get ready for the games tomorrow and Sunday. Hey, what's up, Don? Appreciate you for joining me. This is the end of the week. I've been having a good week, great week. I'm glad that I stopped running those 6 and 8 miles a day. I'm glad I stopped. I ain't got to do that right now. I probably kick that back up. I got to figure out when it's going to be the next marathon. That's what I got to figure out. I kind of want to do the marathon, go to New Orleans and, get out of here and do a marathon. Probably New Orleans or San Antonio or different, a marathon in a different area. That's what I'm thinking about right now. But of course, in July, we got that jiu-jitsu competition. I got to start getting ready for that. So right now I'm just relaxing, chilling, still exercising 3 times a day, but I'm not doing as much work as what I was doing before. Before, if you've been on here a while, I was running 6 and 8 miles in a day, but I'm back down to my normal 3, and I'm just cruising. It's a nice, beautiful day out here, and it's going down. The thing is, it's a lot going on with this Anton Daniels and Corey Holcombe situation, which is really unfortunate. And I hope what I've been thinking, which is really unfortunate, I'm hoping that that episode that we seen was just a play. You know, I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping, chat. I'm hoping that that episode, it's two parts to this though. The first part is I'm hoping that that episode was just a play, you know, to get everybody's attention. Because if a lot of people don't, like a lot of people in the black community, you know, particularly the Democrat, you know, side, they really don't know Anton Daniels. You know, they really don't know Anton Daniels. Anton Daniels has, you know, he's basically one step away from the president. If y'all know, he's kind of like, if you know Candace Owens, he's kind of similar to Candace Owens. He's kind of similar to a Charlie Kirk, but in a different type of way. Anton Daniels has a lot of black conservatives over there, you know, that pay attention to what he got going on. You know, he has a big black conservative following. So if you are not in the, and I ain't gonna say, well, most black people in the black community, they're not into politics. They're not into the stock market. They're not into investing in real estate, you know, and I think that Anton Daniels coming over there and tapping into a whole different market, you know what I'm saying, a whole different group of people, you know, and trying to like let people know, you know, and educate people, because that's what he do. He's kind of, you know, me and him is basically in the same field, you know. We in the same field. We both invest in the stock market. We both work. We both about family values. You know, we got a lot in common. It's like, basically, we both black conservatives. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole big group of people that nobody knows about. You know, it's a lot of black conservatives, guys. But some people on the other side, like me, sometimes, you know, certain people will say, well, black Republicans, black conservatives are like coons, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how they got us marked, you know what I'm saying? But what they don't understand is that the Democratic Party and the Democrats, it ain't the same no more. It ain't the same. The Democrats and the liberals, they are not the same as what they was in the Clinton days. They really not, you know what I'm saying? And like they for a whole lot of things that if you really think about it, a regular common person is not against. You know what I'm saying? They, like, for instance, majority of people are black conservatives and really just don't know it. All you gotta do is ask yourself a few questions. Do you want open borders? You know, simple questions like that, you know, as an example. No. Do you want little boys going in little girls' restroom? No. That's another example. You know, it's just things. There's just a couple of those are just a couple of examples of a whole line of list of things that I really just don't have the time today to go into that. You have to go and read. That's why I talk about it all the time on this channel. A lot of people, especially the people that Corey Holcombe is tapping into, they don't know a lot of certain things. All they see is what that side tell them. You know, that's all they see. They don't know what's really, really going on up under the hood. They don't really understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because they really don't know. They ain't educated. Like Corey Holcombe, he said, voting is for suckers. You know, well, and a lot of people think like that. I know people that think like that in real life. You know, but voting, you know, on all levels is very, very important, because voting is very important because everything is dictated by voting. Laws, judges, the price of food, the price of gas, the price of diesel, the price of, your property taxes, interest rates. You know, how much interest you gonna pay on a loan. You know, everything has to do with the voting system, what you vote. You know, you got to vote judges in. You got to vote. It's just a lot, everything. Voting has something to do with every single thing, everything in life. You know, especially if you voting and who's in office. Even if you're a working guy and you got a 401k plan, if you're an investor, voting, and yes, uh, if you have a job and you participate in your job's 401k plan, you know, and you've been doing it over a substantial amount of time. Who's in office? Who is the president? Who is your mayor? Who is your governor? You know, has something to do with your 401k plan. It has something to do about your hourly wage. Just like now they're talking about health care, which really was supposed to be the subject, but like health care, about the subsidies and the Obamacare and all that stuff. They had to vote to pass these certain things. You know, and yes, voting is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. Only God is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is perfect. But voting and the government system, that's how, that's how America is run. You know, and trying to compare like debates, right? Like in the American system, the American democracy, there are debates. There are controlled debates. You know, in the courtroom, there are debates. There are debates between the defense, between the defense and the prosecutors. There are debates that are like a controlled debate environment. And yes, it gets heated. You know what I'm saying? And that is not really a comparison to two black men and the things that we witnessed in those little clips that they showing. It's not the same. You know, I know everybody ain't gonna think like that, but if you really think about it, those people that run America, you know, and they're basically arguing within the democracy because that's how the laws are ran. They're basically arguing over power. Comparing how the American system and the American government is ran is totally different than two black guys arguing and beefing about the fight, disrespecting one another. It's totally, totally different. It's, it's, it's basically left and right. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. And appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one only Stock Sniper on the walk down. Yeah, and the thing about voting, that's how you're able to have the freedom of speech, through votes. You know, people died and a lot of people went through a bunch of stuff so we can have the ability to vote. Voting is very, very important. You know, and when people don't vote, that throws off the whole system. You know, that's why voting is very, very important, because what you say matters. You know, what you want matters. You know, you want clean water. You want clean parks. You know, as other examples. You know, you want good police officers. You want good firefighters. It's just a lot of different things. You want your trash picked up on time. You know what I'm saying? If it's a hurricane or a national disaster that happened, you know, in your town, you want to be able to, you know, if you don't have it, you would want the government, FEMA, to, you know, to look out for the people. All that has to do with voting. If you vote in the wrong person, you know, maybe it's like there's no more FEMA. Like Donald Trump, he's talking about getting rid of FEMA. You know what I'm saying? FEMA, in my opinion, is very, very important. You know, that's just an example. And who you vote for and who you don't vote for, if you don't vote at all, you got to understand it really means something. It do, you know, it means something. You know, and nothing is perfect, but voting means something. And you know, for a celebrity, you know, to say voting us for suckers, that absolutely makes no sense. You know, because if you vote the wrong person in and your city is run crap, you might have an emergency with your senior citizen mama or your senior citizen daddy. And if the city is ran corrupt and there's no proper leadership in the town, it might take forever for the ambulance to come. It's just everything and all type of things that you could think about. You know what I'm saying? You can't get legislation passed. You know, if you don't vote the right people in, you know, that's just how it works. It's called a democracy. You know, and that's just how it goes. You know, and that's how democracy debates and the going back and forth, you know, that's different than what we witnessed with uh, Anton Daniels and Corey Holcombe. It's totally different. You know, that situation. But I'm hoping that playbook was just a play, because I was thinking that, okay, maybe they go, because a lot of people are saying that they're gonna replay it, they're gonna do it again. So maybe that was a play to get a certain type of people's attention, and then when he come back, it's going, and when he comes back, it's going to be done the right way. I got to cut off my light. There you go. It might be done the right way, how it's supposed to be done, because like Anton Daniels, you know, can enlighten people on a whole lot of different things, guys. He really can. That can really, you know, bring value and put something on people's mind and probably change a lot of people's mind about voting, and also so they can understand, you know, the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans in 2026, because it has definitely changed. It's not the same. They're not the same Democrats as they was when Clinton was around. They're not. That's the reason why Donald Trump switched. That's why Donald Trump switched parties, because they changed, you know, and what they changed to be is basically what they are now. Hey, what's up, Nino? Hey, what's up, Dwayne? Good afternoon, everyone. What's up to Don? We're just rolling here doing the walk down on this Friday. Yeah, that's all I got going on right now. Appreciate y'all for joining and coming through and rocking with me. This is the walk down. I just got through running. Now I'm walking, and it's all good. You know, it's all good. But yeah, I'm hoping that they bring it back, because the Anton Daniels guy can bring a lot of value to a lot of people. It can change people's lives, and it can help, you know, help people in their families and understand about the wealth transfer, you know, what's happening and what's happening right now. But the internet beef and drama, you know what I'm saying, and disrespecting people, you know, all the time, that's blinding a lot of people. You know, some people don't even know certain things, you know, but more education. And then it's also a shame that you got to do something like that to get people's attention. That's the second part of it, guys, chat. That's the second part of it, is that you have to basically argue, make fake arguments, fake beefs, just to get a large amount of people's attention. You know, well, I understand where Anton Daniels coming from, though, because he really want to help them people. He really want to help the people. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people on welfare, a lot of people on food stamps, a lot of people that's stuck in that circle, you know, that don't want to work, you know what I'm saying? That want to survive off of Medicaid and food stamps. And that's another thing that the Democrat on their side, they praise that, you know what I'm saying? They praise that. You never hear them talk about investing. You never hear them talk about the stock market. You know, a matter of fact, Reverend Al Sharpton, who I love, by the way. I love Reverend Al Sharpton my whole life. I love him, you know what I'm saying? He's now, you know, they protested on Wall Street. Like, that didn't even make any sense to me. Like, that's telling the masses, you know what I'm saying, that don't invest. You know, you protested against the American financial system, you know, which 9 times out of 10, which I know is probably 10 times out of 10, uh, Reverend Al Sharpton has a 401k plan or some type of retirement account, you know. So, I mean, they have basically changed, man, you know, and I know why they changed, but I'm not finna sit here and just explain all that. That ain't really what I do. You know what I'm saying? You have to research it, not research, but because you gotta. Yeah, I'm just blessed to have been around parents and grandparents that basically told me how things go. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed to be educated in a totally different uh, in a totally different time because I am an older guy. You know, where my parents, grandparents was all right there educating me, letting me know what's going on in real time. You know, most people these days, they got to look at what they got to get their information, all the information from Google. You know, unfortunately, it's like that. They got to basically look up to Google for the right information because for, you know, another reason that I can't really talk about on this live, because I'll be here all night, is they wasn't fortunate enough to be educated about certain things by their you know, parents and grandparents and things like that because they wasn't around, incarcerated, and you know, and all things like that. And you know, I got a big, you know, Anton Daniels is actually trying to go there, you know, and try to really educate, you know what I'm saying, on what's going on, you know, and how it is a plus, you know, for everybody to get educated about the different parties, about the different systems, you know, about the American system as a whole, just educated, you know, and then make a clear decision once you know everything. A lot of people making decisions on things that they don't even know about, you know. Some people don't even know, you know, the branches of the office. Some people don't know what a conservative is or a liberal. You know, some people don't know these different terminologies and what they mean, you know. And then you got people like Corey Holcombe saying that voting is for suckers. I can't get that out of my mind. You know, voting is for suckers. That's absolutely not true. You can't be telling a masses group of people that voting is for suckers. It's not. The voting system ain't perfect, but hey, that is what America Foundation is built on. That's how you get the First Amendment, freedom of speech. I think freedom of speech is the First Amendment, but you got, that was passed by voting laws. The freedom of speech, the freedom of bearing arms, you know, the freedom to speak how you feel. Long as you ain't threatening to kill somebody or talking about kids, you know what I'm saying? Talking negative about kids and things like that. But you can speak how you feel about certain things. Long as you think about what you're saying. That's the thing about the freedom of speech. And that came through voting. If it wasn't, if we couldn't vote, man, voting was the reason why slavery ended. It's just a lot of different things, bro. That voting is very, very important. Just think if it wasn't no voting system and during slavery, you know, it wasn't no voting system, then people would still be slaves to this day. So the voting system gave us the right to, you know, some people don't like, some people don't like the fact what Martin Luther King did, you know, but hey, at that time, they thought it was more valuable if we, you know, mix in with them. You know what I'm saying? That came through voting. So it's a lot of different, voting is very, very important. And to understand voting and the whole American judicial system, because it is a system, you gotta educate yourself. You gotta know. and it benefits you and your family. Whoever, whatever, whichever one of these people, which they are lawmakers, that's what they are. They make laws, so whichever one, man, it's windy out here, guys. Whichever one benefits you and your family, that's who you go with. But a lot of people these days, because the country is so divided, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people these days, it's more wide up, you know what I'm saying? But vote for, educate yourself, and go for who will benefit you and your family. You know what I'm saying? This is how it works. You gotta know what they stand for, what they're talking about, what they try to promote to you. You gotta know it all. You gotta know how they were in the past, how they are now, what they stand for, what you stand for, what morals you got. Because it ain't always about a financial gain. It's like, what are your morals? Are you all right with boys playing in girls' sports? Would you want a boy, you got a daughter that wrestle, or you got a daughter that box, or you got a daughter that practices jiu-jitsu, would you want them in competition? Your daughter in competition with a guy, but he's really want to acting like he a girl? Do you want like boys and girls restrooms in public? Do you want boys taking showers with girls? I mean, that's you gotta understand all that, That's what them people, that's what the Democrats, that's what they are about. You want kids being able to make a decision on changing their sex and they 7, 8 years old? If you about that, then cool. But if you not, then okay, you check it off. It's an example. They also want you on. They all right with everybody being on Medicaid and food stamps and housing forever. They all right with that. If you a working guy and you ain't with that, you think everybody should go to work. That's another check. That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's just basic examples. Break it down where anybody can understand it. It's about your morals and what benefits you in your household, in your city, in your town. You know what I'm saying? In your state. And it all works together. You can see it now. You got a Democratic governor and a Republican president. Well, you already know what's going to happen. That's why it's very, very important. How your city is being taken care of, it depends on who y'all vote in to be the lawmakers. It's very, very important. Taxes, property taxes, all that has something to do with voting. Every single thing. Healthcare prices has something to do with voting. That's just how it goes. Some people like Obamacare. Some people don't. If you're a working guy and you've been working for a long time, you probably don't like Obamacare. Why, Stock Sniper? Because if before Obamacare, before Obama got elected, healthcare monthly prices were cheap. Well, because of Obamacare, they are expensive. And some people that really don't work or work here and there or work for minimum wage, they can get healthcare for $0. So it just all depends on what you and your family fall up under. You know what I'm saying? Some people love Obamacare. Why, Stock Sniper? Because they make $20,000 a year, they make $15,000 a year, they make $30,000 a year, and they're able to get health care for $0 or for $10. That's how it works. So it just depends on you and your family and what's right for you. But voting definitely, it definitely counts. I just told you basically about 50 reasons why, you know, and it's probably more than that. I've just said the basics. And whatever is best for you and your family, that's who you roll with. If you are right with the borders being open, okay, then you over there. If you want the borders closed and you understand that your daughter, you got a daughter or a son, they can't get a job at Jack in the Box or Whataburger at 17, 16, 18 years old because the people over there, the people that came across the border got all the jobs, then there you go. You know, it's just ways you gotta look at it, man. It's just ways you gotta look at it. And if you don't know about something, stop speaking. You know what I'm saying? If I don't know, if I don't know, let's say, let me make an example. I like UFC as an example. If I've never been to a UFC fight and never seen a UFC fighter, then, and all of a sudden, I start hearing about John Jones, I can't just make a decision about John Jones, and I've only watched 1 or 2 fights. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I understand that YouTube gives people voices that really haven't had a voice before. You could tell, you know, and that's just my opinion, you know. That's just how I go. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's very important to vote, because the freedom of speech is is the freedom of speech. And that's just what it is. That's just exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a nice, pretty day today. Real nice on a Friday. I've been walking for 30 minutes. Yeah, I feel kind of good today on a Friday. I think I'm gonna walk off. I'm gonna walk. I already did 1.25 miles. I'm gonna do another 1.25 miles. It's all good on a Friday. If you don't know, on Saturdays and Sundays, I don't do nothing. So those are my off days. That's why it's very important, you know, that you rest your body. You rest. You know, when you're working out like that, I work out 3 times a day. You know, and how I cut back on my running, I feel real good. I feel real good, and I like it like that. So I think tonight is Friday. We got chess. See, last night we did arms. We did arms. We did biceps and triceps. Tonight we're going to do chest and a little bit of back. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of back. But see, that's why I talk about using manageable weight. It avoids injuries, and plus, it helps with your cardio. That's why if you've been watching me at the gym, I do a lot of sets. I do a lot of reps. You know, that's cardio. You know what I'm saying? And it helps with my running. You know, because I do run in marathons, and it helps. And it not only that, but it helps with your mental health. It really do. And you know, it helps with your mental health. It's a fact. That's why when you go to the doctor, they tell you to watch what you eat, exercise more. They want you to exercise every day. And I've been doing this for 25 summers. Well, about to be 26. So I've been doing this for more than 25 summers. So there you go. I ain't just started doing this. I ain't just started exercising and running and lifting weights last week. Now, and what I am on this internet, that's exactly who I am in real life. I do the exact same thing, the exact same way. I'm who I am right now, and what y'all see me do, that's exactly what I do in real life. I talk about politics. I talk about whatever president. I talk about the stock market. I talk about exercising. I call people out with the bullshit in the bubble gum. I do that in real life. Yeah, I do that in real life. I don't just do that on here. I do it in real life. I call out the bullshit. Man, and that's bullshit when you got two grown men, 40 and 60 years old, that's millionaires, that's disrespecting each other like that and acting like they're gonna fight like they're 15 years old. Yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. When they can be telling the youngsters and telling the people that have never invested before, people that don't want to work, which we got a lot of people that don't want to work, got a lot of people that don't know nothing about investing, got a lot of people that don't know nothing about politics, you know, which politics is what runs this country, you know? And you got people, them type of people like that, I hope it's a play. I hope that's what it is. I hope they did that to bring the lower level people on board. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hearing though, that they're gonna run it back. So what that means is that when they do come back, everybody well, I ain't gonna say everybody, the black conservatives and us, the people that's already involved with the stock market, that's already knowing about voting, already, you know, us that do content about those type of things, we're already there. So that, if that was a play, then that means that the people that think voting is for suckers, don't really understand how voting works and how your right to vote means a lot, because they're not educated, then those people, or people that don't understand the stock market, the people that don't understand real estate, you know what I'm saying? The people don't understand how easy it is to buy back their block that they stand on every single day. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. They could come over and learn and take notes, you know, and participate in the wealth transfer that's happening right now that I've been talking about for 2 years. And yes, it's still beginning. It's still the beginning of the wealth transfer, guys. It's still in the beginning. And I don't want to hear nobody hollering about, talking about somebody else's pockets. No, you can start right where you at with this wealth transfer. Right where you at. You know, then once you start investing, this is another good topic. Once you start investing and you start learning about earnings reports, you know, see, a lot of people don't know about earnings reports. You know, earnings and earn, that is a financial word that we use in the financial trading, investing world. It's called an earnings report. Matter of fact, a lot of companies about to come out with earnings in January. Every quarter, every company in the world, every company in America has to come out with what is called a earnings report. So let's get that there too. Every quarter, it's 3 months in the quarter. Every quarter, the companies that we know, like, and trust, Google, which owns YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, or if you own a computer, if you own a computer, it probably has the Microsoft software in there, Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They have to report earnings. What is earnings, Stock Sniper? Earnings is all the money that they made, all the profits. They got to report it every 3 months. Not just to the shareholders, but to the world. To, you know, they gotta make it public. How much our profits was, our estimated profits, and our actual profits. You know what I'm saying? So earnings report is a regular word that is used in this space that I'm in. So we gotta understand that a lot of people don't know that. But I'm here to break it down the best way that I can. And we are in earnings season right now. So, and all that plays a part, guys. It does. Taxes. How much you pay on taxes has something to do with voting. Everything has something to do with voting. Everything. That's why when you got a millionaire saying voting is for suckers, I know he's lying. You know, I don't think he feel like that. I think he's paid. I think that he was paid to that's what I think. I think he was paid. And we gotta understand we can't just listen to anything that the celebrities say. You can't listen to everything they say. Because they'll lead you down the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got a Michael Jordan, a LeBron James, a NBA young boy, whatever the case may be, John Jones, you know what I'm saying, telling you that voting is for suckers, and a lot of them youngsters ain't gonna vote. That's how it works. And then they go to complaining when the ambulance don't come there on time, the judge get a daddy life sentence, you know what I'm saying? The police, beat them up. The mayor don't want to do nothing about it. You call the mayor's office to complain about something, and he don't do nothing, and you upset. Have you voted? Do you vote? No. That's why. This is a couple of examples. Just to make it simple. It's a couple of examples. You don't vote, and a lot of people, because one person don't vote, a lot of people don't vote, and the other side win, and then you got a national disaster that come in your area, and then the president don't want to come, or a certain type of people like they did in Katrina, how Bush did Katrina, had them people waiting, you know what I'm saying, damn near two weeks or a month before they came, and all Bush did was flew over the sky and look, and didn't really go contact with them people. But then the people complaining. But if you talk to them, majority of them ain't voting. That has a lot to do with it. COVID. When COVID was out, a lot, the president had to, that president who people voted in had the ability to shut the whole country down. That's what he had, the ability to shut the whole country down. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't like that, you complained about it. Did you vote? Nope. That's how it works. Because some of these elections be really, really close. Some of them be real close. That's just how it works. As we come down to the end of the walk down. Man, I'm getting close to the end too. Almost 2.5 miles going down. James Robinson, you're welcome. Hey, what's up, guys? Hi, Nino. I kind of like it when there's not that many people in the chat because I can read more comments, but if it's a lot of people in the chat, it's kind of hard to read all the comments. I kind of like it better when there's only a few people in the chat. Because I'm exercising anyway and just doing what I do. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and coming through. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. All good. Yeah. But this is the end of the week. It's going down. I just hope, what I hope is Anton Daniels and Corey Holcombe run it back. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they run it back and that next interview or whatever collab will be real, real productive. Well, a lot of people watching it and people can take notes. That's why, another thing, guys, when you go on these, when people are on doing collabs and they are talking and they're giving good value information, always take notes. When it's valuable, it's something you want to learn, take notes. Like if Anton Daniels and Corey Holcombe rerun this and it actually goes right, you got to be taking notes. You know what I'm saying? Or if you ain't taking notes, try to screen record it so you can go back over it and you can learn something. You know what I'm saying? Because Anton Daniel's gonna break it down. Now you probably, the thing about it is that you can't pay attention to, you gotta pay attention to what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's a Trump supporter, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a diehard Trump supporter. See me, I'm a black conservative. I basically vote for the people that's in the best interest of my household. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's how I am. So I'm not really technically I'm not a Republican. You know what I'm saying? Cause I vote for whoever I think is beneficial to me and my family. That's how I do it. But I'm not loyal to nobody but my household. I said it. That's the only people I'm loyal to. I'm not loyal to no certain person. I'm not loyal to no certain base. None of that. I'm loyal to my household. That's who I'm loyal to. I'm not loyal to nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people say, you see Trump in my title and stuff like that. But I also, I do videos about all of them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. And I critique them. It's like I critique everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't like everything Trump do and say, but the things that he represents as far as business, I'm in the stock market, right? He's a business president, and so the things he's gonna put in place are gonna look out for me, are going to be in the best interest of me. You know what I'm saying? And my family. That's how it works. But I don't agree with everything he say. You know what I'm saying? Because a pair of lips will say anything, bro. That's what your actions are. You know? That's what it is. So we gotta understand that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta understand that. We gotta not be so much in your feelings when it comes to communication on this internet. You know what I'm saying? You gotta quit being always in your feelings. That's another thing I don't understand. How these people are so emotional about internet text or talking on the internet. But like I said before, the powers that be understand the brainwashing technique. That's what they understand. You know what I'm saying? That's what they understand. The brainwashing technique. And it's real. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? People being emotional on the internet and really being emotional about it is a mental health complex. It really is. And guess what? If I know I fall up under that umbrella, I can't feel no type of way about it. I gotta do something about it. I gotta recognize what it is, and then I gotta change. If I don't like it, if my daddy tell me something about me that I know is right, I can't get offended. I gotta check myself. I gotta think and say, well, hey, is this right or is this wrong? Does it make sense? Oh, I don't like it. Well, I need to change. I need to change something about it. That's how it works. Some of these things I say on this internet, because a lot of people know I rewatch this shit. A lot of people know I rewatch these lives. And sometimes I be talking to myself. Literally. That's why I'm thinking about making all this into an audio book. All these walk downs I've been doing, audio book. That's what I've been thinking about doing. Because it's very, very valuable. You know? And the things I say, that's how I talk in real life. I'm not finna sugarcoat nothing for nobody. I'm gonna talk the way I talk. And I'm talking to Texas. I'm talking to Texas and whatever else. Especially on the internet. In real life, I'm gonna tell you who you are in person, but on the internet, it's the millions of people. Whoever, if it apply, if it don't apply, let it fly. That's how it goes. don't be getting offended when certain people say certain things. If you said, you said, but when you speak on me and actually put an address on it, then I speak. But if you don't put no address on it, you could be talking to anybody. You could be talking to yourself. Hello. And that's what it is. Exactly what it is. What I am on this internet, exactly what I do in real life. You watch me on this channel, and you've been on here for a while, you see the places I go, sometimes I put it on the internet, sometimes I don't. But if you've been on here, you know I be outside, I be around people, and I be doing things, whatever it might be. It's just right now, I'm stationary because I've been running marathons. So if you know that, I've been training and running marathons all year, ever since I left the Super Bowl. If you've been watching the channel, you know that too. All right, what's happening, y'all?
I like that hat, bro.
I appreciate it. I got it in San Antonio. When I went to the NCAA championship, which I was disappointed, by the way. University of Houston Cougars got beat by Florida Gators in the finals. 1 second last shot. If you was on the channel, I was live that day at the Final Four in San Antonio. I had a great time out there in San Antonio, over there on the River Walk. So yeah, I ain't been, matter of fact, we went to the Super Bowl, which if you was on the channel, you seen that live. And then I went to University of Houston, I went to the Final Four, which was great. Then after that, that's when I got invited to the marathon, and I've been training ever since. Now that I think about it, I've been basically doing all this training, high level training, for a year. You know? But now, since the marathon is over, I kind of started back my normal routine. You know what I'm saying? Because I took the marathon training like I was training for a fight. That's how I took the marathon training. Like I was training for a fight, or I was training for a jiu-jitsu competition. That's how I took the marathon training. And that's over, so I'm back to my regularly scheduled routine, which is staying in my own lane and minding my own business. Working out 3 times a day, regular. Just my normal lifestyle. Running 2 or 3 miles a day, hitting the gym. That's my normal lifestyle. Exercising, doing calisthenics. That's my normal lifestyle. When I get ready to sign up for an event, then that's when I up it up. That's why some of y'all that been on this channel seen me running 6-8 miles, walking another 3 or 4 in the heat, in the heat, in the snow, in the rain, however it come. That's how life is, guys. You're gonna have storms and winter and heat, uncomfortable times, in other words, in life. You gotta keep going and keep pushing. That's why being positive and trying to wake up positive every single day is very, very important. Because when you have that positive mindset and you have trained your mind to be positive, no matter, even though bad shit happen, you know what I'm saying? When it do happen for real, and you've been training your mind for this, it's easy to get over hurdles. Easier. It's easier. Especially when you have a daily plan. Everything works in order. You have a plan. I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. And it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that gotta be done every day. That's how it goes. Just so happened, I love exercising. I love running. I love playing basketball. I love jujitsu. I love boxing. I love walking. It's a lot of things. I love creating content on YouTube. A lot of things that I like. It's what I do. And I ain't gonna do something else because I see somebody else do it. How I act is how I act is how I act. What I do in real life, exactly what I do on the internet. Literally. As we come around to 2.5 miles. Feel good today, old chat. Feel real good, man. Real good. Real good. Nice walk. After running 3 miles. Now I done walked 2.5 miles. Almost 6 miles of activity. And I feel real good. I really do. I think my phone is starting to trip a little bit. But that's all right. Let me get around here this corner. It's windy out here though. But it's all good. It's about 75. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't. What time is it? All right, it's almost 3 o'clock. I think I'm gonna go around one more time, make it 1.25 miles, 1.25 miles, 2.5, 3 miles and 3/4, almost 4 miles. Feels good, man. It really do. You know, people that's living this lifestyle, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. Because all it takes is a little bit of motion. That's it. Let me get around this corner. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one only Stock Sniper. I'm working out on a Friday, ending everything for the day. And that's exactly what it is. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Appreciate y'all. What's up to Don? Well, I'm so glad there ain't that many people in here. I like it when it's like this. I really do. When there's a whole lot of people, I kind of try to read the comments, and it's harder to read the comments when I'm out here working out, and there's a lot of people in the chat. It's hard to read every single comment. It's hard. Well, I think I'm in it right here, guys. Good Friday, good week. Good conversations this week. That's good though, guys, that people are having conversations about politics. You know, that's always good, always educational when good conversations, because politics and the democracy of the United States and American system is always good to talk about because it affects every area of our lives. Every area of our lives. Every area you could think of. I listed probably about 10 on this live, but it's way more than that. So, because it's a system, you know what I'm saying? It's a system, you know? And sometimes the system is not perfect, you know, because it's man-made, right? So it's not perfect, but it's the American system. If you claim yourself to be American and you love America, well, that's the system. If you say you're an American and you love America, you proud to be an American, and you rep the USA, and you rep that system. You rep the voting system. You rep the democracy. You represent it. Home of the brave. You know, land of the free, home of the brave. The national anthem, you represent all that. And voting is the foundation of this American system. It's what the American system was built on. So that's how it goes. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I think I'm gonna end it right here. It's your boy, the one and only Stock Sniper. Earn, spend less, make proper investments. Teach it to your kids and grandkids. Teach it to your circle. And then yes, teach it to everybody around the world. And yes, guys, your mental health, avoiding YouTube beef and drama and getting emotional behind it, you know, and taking your YouTube channel serious and taking your YouTube channel as investment. And yes, your YouTube channel is an investment. I love and I appreciate y'all. Maybe I might go live tonight and react to some more things. Hope y'all join me tonight. Well, I do got to work out, you know, so tonight is probably going to be a short workout because I only got to do chest and back. Maybe you join me for that. If not, cool. Love and appreciate y'all. I'm out.